All right, this video has been a long time coming, but let me start off by immediately saying if you're playing Halo in 2026, you should hate 343 or Halo Studios or whatever they want to call themselves. You should be annoyed. Like, if you're still playing this franchise, if you're one of like the couple thousand people that still play it every day, you should be upset about how it's been handled. Now, I should be very clear when I say you should hate 343, not the specific employees. I'm not going to pretend it's any one particular person's fault, right? Don't go harass people. That's not at all what I'm saying. But the company itself, yeah. Yeah, why in the world would you accept this? It has been a very long time. I mean, we're past a decade of just this long, slow trudge towards being completely mediocre. And I don't understand how people are defending that. Um, I think that the company has good intent, but the execution just always fails. It's just always a failure. Like every single time we flop, and then how many times have you heard, oh, well, Infinite's good now, 4 years after release, when they're not supporting it anymore? Like, oh yeah, MCC's launch was horrible, but, 6 years in, we finally have a working product, and just repeat that for everything. Like I said, good intent. Consumers consume, but they don't consume intent. And let me also get this out of the way too. Fuck clickbait. I don't do clickbait stuff. The title, when I put stuff in my videos, like that's exactly what I mean. I literally mean that you should not just be carrying water for this company for no reason. Now, do I have 13,000 hours in MCC? Yes, I do. I've torn the game apart. I love it. I play it every day. Like, this game means a lot to me. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that 343 even gives a shit about it anymore, right? So, yeah. When I look at MCC as a product as it was delivered, I understand that the idea and the scope of the project was take each of the individual games that were made for the 360 and port them over to make them compatible with the Xbox One and going forward. With that, we took a bunch of features that have existed for a long time that in my mind kind of made those games and stripped all of those away in order to force them into what is MCC. So, really good example, your pre-game, post-game lobbies. It was a huge thing in Reach to be able to just scroll through and look at, make fun of people that are inheritor, joke about the armor people had on. Like, that was a huge thing at the beginning and end of every game. The commendation system for Reach. Vetoing and voting. I know MCC's had a history of those features, but like those things are gone now. They're just completely gone. And I think MCC still strictly needs a veto system. I think voting was horrible. I think 343 agreed with that. That's why they ripped it out. But it's weird to see Halo fall from a titan of the industry to what it is today. And we spend every day for years talking about how, wow, it's just kind of crazy. There are very cheap, I've said it a million times, there are very cheap, simple things that this company could do, and they're intentionally choosing not to. Your playlists do not have to sit this way for so long. Like, there's no reason for any of that. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not disillusioned when it comes to whatever their next project is. Like, they have nothing in the pipeline that they've announced at all for multiplayer. So they've announced their new CE campaign evolved whatever thing, and with that they have not said anything about MCC, anything about Infinite, other than, oh yeah, guys, we're supporting them. Things are going good. It's all stupid. Like, that's all corporate bullshit just to kind of keep you on the line to see if you're gonna, keep on paying with whatever the next thing is. The development process of MCC and Infinite is horrible. We can say the whole contractor structure, that conversation's been beaten to death. Guess what? Yeah, that's the way of the industry. Everyone is doing that. But not everyone is failing. Not everyone is just making mediocre projects over and over and over and over and over. So, yeah, we can say, I'm not going to like pretend that a corporate structure like that with contractors and all that good stuff, like, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't have an influence and cause problems. But guess what? Other people have these same problems. And somehow, some way, companies are able to churn out games that people still like to play. Like, Other games have an active, hey, people are cheating, we're going to handle that, instead of what we have to do in Halo, where it's like, okay, make sure you know, write down a blood oath and take a video of it and submit that. And oh, by the way, even though you sent me a video of someone literally flying across the map, we've determined not to take action because we can't figure out the like, I don't care how many contractors you have, that is a you problem. And so let me cut off some of the arguments or some of the things that people are going to say, because I already know what people are going to say, which is, you just hate Number Company. You are just a 343 hater. You must be a huge Bungie fanboy. No, guess what? I just defend good work, and I call out things that are bad. If I had a friend that was doing something stupid, like if I had a friend that just left his car or left his phone in his car every night and then it gets stolen, and the next night he does it again and his phone gets stolen again, I'm not going to be like, oh man, that really sucks. Like, I can't believe that that's happening. I'm going to say, stop leaving your phone in your fucking car. Like, very simple. And it's the exact same thing here. Like, you are doing things as a company that is not working. And you can't just keep doing them on repeat. You can't just kind of keep doing this weird fallback indecision of, okay, well, we're going to leave sprint as a mechanic that we're not sure if we're going to embrace it, and we're going to do legacy playlists, and, you know, in one game we're going to put the Forge community playlist in, and in the other game we're just going to pretend it never existed, and we're never going to cross promote our game. Like, they keep doing the same weird practices over and over. Like, how do we have in MCC, how do we have to where in Halo 2 co-op, if someone drives too fast, the game crashes? How do we have that? And in at the exact same time this was reported and, you know, everyone figured out this was a thing, we're developing a stance screen that no one uses that we're going to abandon. And yeah, they were probably going to try to monetize that, but guess what? You just abandon it. You like started this whole thing. This company's kind of proven they can't do two things at once, so focus on your major bugs. And if funding is really a big problem, I've said this in the past too, literally just come out and say that. Like, don't do this weird, we're not going to say anything about anything ever because we have this corporate veil, whatever. Just come out and be honest with people. And I feel like that would go a really long way. And the fact that they're not even willing to do that, they're not even willing to say, hey, we need $50,000 in order to beef up our easy anti-cheat. Bro, the speed at which I could fundraise some of this stuff. Like, I would fund some of that myself just to be like, hello, this is a game I put a lot of time and money into. Well, not money, but a lot of time. I'm invested in it, is the point. And because, again, people are going to say that this is all just me attacking 343. Again, I do this. I will attack Bungie too. CE's multiplayer was thrown together in 6 months. That was horrible, but guess what? They still managed to pick something together after that 6 months that, okay, we'll say it was a total afterthought, because it was. It's still playable now. Literally no one you know is going to be playing Infinite in a few years. A AAA game, this is the future of Halo. Literally, like, I look and it has under 1,000 players on Steam. That is unacceptable. I don't care if MCC has more games. Like, that is just insane. You are clearly doing something wrong. Now, near the end of Halo 3's life cycle, it had bad problems. Everyone who talks about Halo 2 ranked remembers everyone was fucking cheating. Everyone remembers that. In Halo 3, people were flying around, and I went and pulled some VODs off one of my old 360s, and one of the things I found was a 2-minute game of MLG on like rank 49 or something, where it was an elite on the other team that grabbed the flag and captured it 3 times in a row on Narrows, just flying. Like, that was a big problem then too. But the fact that we still have it is absolutely insane. So now let's turn our corporate hats on and let's talk about or think about why it is this way. And so we have to start to break things down into all that fun corporate jargon of like your KPIs, right? So what is the stuff that Microsoft actually cares about when it comes to Halo? Because they don't care about having a ton of players, obviously, because they don't do things to try to do that. So they care about monetization. So they care about their sales. They care about how much money that you're spending. And if you look at Infinite, Infinite was a success. Halo 4 was a success. Halo 5 was a success. MCC is a success. All because people made that initial purchase. Infinite made a ton of money because a ton of people bought campaign and then turned around and spent money on the microtransactions in the game. Now, really, really good for the corporation. Oh my gosh, they got their money back. Huge ROI, amazing. Really horrible for players because now you have 1,000 people playing the game. And I mean, it's cool that you spent $10 for the color white or whatever, but yeah, your interests are not aligned with this company. I don't know how many times you need to hear anyone tell you that, but yeah, they do not care about you engaging in the game and playing it. Is that an afterthought? Absolutely. I think they would love if more people did it, but they got their back. They're done. Like, the fact that Infinite has this core system where they're like, oh, if you buy a color here, that's for this set of armor, but then if you want to use it on another set of armor, you got to buy another color over here, and then they tried to walk that back. Like that is such... I cannot tell you how much I hate that system, and the idea that they didn't just immediately come out and say, yeah, this was horrible, and instead spent like 2 years trying to like pitch it as a fix of like, oh yeah, we fixed the color scheme. Like, you don't get to make the really shitty system, fuck it up the whole time, and then, you know, apologize for it and reap all of the... Like, you're reaping the rewards on both ends. You're reaping the rewards of you're selling it, and then when it goes horrible, you're like, oh my god, guys, we're so sorry. Let us fix it. And then trying to sell it again and getting the social credit of apology. Like, it's stupid. Your double XP counts down when you're not in a game. What kind of horrible anti-player decision is that? And again, I think that they had good intentions when it comes to a lot of these systems. Like, I think the stance stuff being added into MCC, I think they had good intentions. I think they wanted to sell stances, or sell cosmetics and things that would show up on that screen. Okay. But you're failing on half of your metrics, because we talked about monetization. That's a big thing. The other half of your metrics are retention. You have daily average users, monthly average users, your player counts, community management. Like, these are all things that are metrics that you should care about, and they're all flops. Like, okay, MCC has the highest player count it's had in a few years now. I would say even 7K. Like, it's kind of embarrassing for where we are. Like, that number would be so much higher, but guess what? How many people don't play because they're like, oh my god, on Reddit, I saw a Mint Blitz post about how the game's nothing but cheaters, and then they turn around and they say, oh, nobody's playing this game, it's just nothing but cheaters, right? And so no one from 343 ever jumps in and says, hey, we're dealing with this, or hey, it's not that bad, guys, you know, here's our plan, here's our roadmap. Instead, because they failed to meet objectives in the past, they just publish nothing. And so we're just met with literally no idea about anything that's going on ever. And I don't understand how people rush to defend what they aren't defending themselves. That's the part, I think that's one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy, is I see this on like Twitter and Reddit and all this stuff all the time of, man, Microsoft really like screwed 343. And it's like 343 isn't out here, you know, punting the responsibility. They've acknowledged after every game that they've made that's bad, which by the way has been all of them, they have come out and acknowledged, hey, we've made mistakes, we need to learn and grow. They did it with Halo 4, they did it with Halo 5, they did it with MCC. I imagine they're going to make some kind of statement similar about Infinite. I know they said that they've learned from their mistakes in the past and Infinite won't repeat them, but guess what? Here we are. So, all that to say, you should point your anger at where it should be pointed. At the end of the day, we're buying a product from 343. Yes, they have Microsoft as their corporate overlords, but guess what? That doesn't just mean you get to say, like, okay, I guess I won't say anything because really it's big, bad Microsoft that's at fault. No, point the blame at the people that are selling you the product and approach it that way. And stop fighting other Halo community people. Like, I don't get, like, Sprint's not for me. Okay, I really didn't love the power-ups and the way that it was approached inside of Reach, although I think Reach made it manageable. I think having Sprint as a core mechanic just, it's not very fun for me competitively. I don't think it really fits the flow of this arena-style shooter in the way that it makes sense for me. But I'm also not going to go and shit on you if that's what you like. Like, if you like whatever is happening in Halo 4, okay, great. enjoy that. If you like the fact that you can't descope people in that game, I think that's horrible. But I'm also not going to attack you for it. Like, I want you to log into MCC and play Halo 4, and when I match you, I'm just going to make fun of you in-game because I'm going to say, like, this game is not serious. Like, you have a sniper rifle zoomed in on my head, and I shoot you, and I don't descope you, and you can still just pull the trigger. Like, that's stupid, but okay. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm glad you're logging in and playing. You're probably just going to wreck me because I don't play this game, and then off we go. It's similar to, like, add that to any of these conversations. Sprint versus no sprint. I think there's an interesting conversation around that, but people don't point their anger at where it should be pointed. And again, I'm not saying to, like, go attack these people. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I think you can voice your complaints in a way that's constructive without it being like an actual attack. So when MCC had this issue where players on the Microsoft Store couldn't connect anymore, I was in their Discord every day. Hey, people in the Microsoft Store still can't play. After, like, I think Infinite had an outage for like 24 hours and people were complaining, and I was like, man, imagine this is how people in the Microsoft Store version of MCC felt for the last like 3 months. And finally, after 6 months, they fixed it. And so I guess what I'm saying is they are not going to pay any attention to anything or any of these conversations at all if every single time something comes up, you say, well, it's just because the players are stupid. Like, the storyline in Infinite was really good. You just couldn't follow it and read all of the blog posts and everything else because you're not very smart. I literally saw someone saying that Halo 5 was like the best storyline ever, but players were too stupid to get it. And that's insane to me. Like, at the end of the day, the company has to deliver a product. If it's not landing with people, that's not the people's fault. So stop fighting each other. Point your anger in the right place. You should hate this company. Have a great weekend. And oh yeah, I was really drunk in that game of Avalanche, so forgive my plays. I was just having fun. Peace.